Thank you very much, Mr. Juwaria. Alhamdulillah, we meet once again. I'm Dr. Azlin Tajuddin. I've given my first presentation on the 11th of November on research, how to apply sociological research in our everyday context. Today, I will be talking about another issues which is related to my research. So this is the title of my presentation today, Exploring Humans, Nature Connection, Insight from Sociology and Islam. Basically, I teach this subject to my student of third year and final year student. The title of the course is Environment and Society. As you see my slide in the subsequent screen, basically, I'll be sharing with you, apart from the point, you will see that I have accompanied each slide with different pictures. This is my own personal collection. When I visited various natural wonder throughout selected countries in the world. So I hope you would enjoy the picture as well, whereby I put the location of each picture under the picture. So basically today I'll be talking about, as of a start, introduction, whereby we will do some reflection on our connection, our everyday connection with various elements in nature. And then I'll be talking about Ibn Khaldun environmental determinism concept. And then why the concern, why we should have we need to reflect our connection with Mother's nature. Then I will bring in sociological lens to understand human-nature interaction. Yeah, so first I will define what is ES or environmental sociology. And number two, I will share with you a few examples of theoretical paradigm within this discipline of environmental sociology, but we only discuss one in detail. Then I will tie in our discussion with Islamic perspective on the fundamental to understand human-nature interaction. And then I will bring in two concepts, environmental balance and environmental ethics. And I will conclude our presentation today with by providing you some motivation in order to take action as fast as after I finish my lecture. So I given or coined the term EnviroAct, okay, environmental action. Okay, so for an introduction, I hope each one of us can reflect our connection with various natural elements that actually we encounter in our everyday life. It's just that whether maybe we do not realize how important this natural element in ensuring our survival as well as our well-being in our everyday life. So in order to do that, maybe I can invite you to do some simple experiment or test or exercise, whatever you can call it. Okay, let us do this together. How long can you hold your breath? 50 seconds, 1 minute. Okay, if you want to really do the experiment, you can take your phone and then start counting using your stopwatch. Yeah, 30 seconds for me, more or less, 30 seconds. What about the rest of you? Okay, anyway, you can keep typing your answer. 45 seconds, not that bad. 35 seconds, do it. That's long, 45 seconds. Okay, anyway, as I mentioned earlier, each one of you can keep typing your answer. So basically, that is one of the natural elements that we enjoy every day, but we maybe have overlooked on the importance of this natural element until we lost it. Like this situation whereby we in Malaysia have experienced few years data in 2018, 2017, 16 when our neighboring country have problem with the afforestation, deforestation and the problem of fire in palm oil plantation and whatnot. Okay, so we Malaysian at that time and also some other Southeast Asian country were experiencing this haze problem, okay, whereby our air index, pollution index, has shooting up, okay, due to the presence of particle in our environment. So we experience difficulty of breathing, okay, and whatnot. So this is then only we realized how important our natural element is. And not to mention, few years back, recently in year 2019, 20, 21, we have the problem that our air or atmosphere has been polluted by a virus, COVID-19 virus. So that poses a public health to not only in Malaysia but also all over the world. So that is one element that we may take for granted. The other one, when was the last time that you have your sip of water? During your breakfast today? Okay. Your sip of water or your glass of water. Again, you can do a little experiment. Try to count how long you are able to withhold yourself from drink any water. So one of you answer 1 hour back. So after this lecture, you try to clock the time, the next sip of water or the next glass of water that you're going to drink. So how long you are able to survive without water? Can you survive until tomorrow morning, during breakfast tomorrow morning? Okay. So basically, this is also another element that we may take for granted, that we enjoy in our everyday life. Clean, access to clean water, okay, that we tend to overlook. Okay, there is a 3-3-3 rules of survival. If you are familiar doing outdoor activities like jungle trekking, mount climbing, basically these are what we call 3-3-3 rules of survival. 30 seconds, 30 seconds on average, you can hold your breath. And then 3 days, you can go on, you can survive without water. And 3 weeks without food. So this is what they call 3-3 rules of survival, which basically shows us the importance of natural elements. So in this second example, is about water. So indeed, water is equal to life. Without water, there is no life. So you can see from this picture, of course, including us, the first human society, human civilization. Okay, our body needs water. Our body consists of 70% of water. And then not to mention our terrestrial animal, like the one in the picture, cheetah. Okay? And not to mention those aquatic species, dolphin, okay? Your squid, crab, and whatnot. So these definitely for them, water, not only they need to drink water per se, but the water resources become their own habitat or home. And then we have, of course, another living organism, plant, vegetation. These are all little plant or trees that I have in my office. And not to mention, we also have aquatic species like lotus. So basically, yes, this is the most important element without which we cannot survive our clean water resources. In fact, in Islam, in Quran, there are a number of verses whereby Allah has mentioned about the importance of this natural element. Do not the unbelievers see that the heaven and the earth were joined together as one unit creation before we clothed them asunder? We made from water every living thing. Will they not then believe? Okay. So these, of course, the current scientific empirical research have also show the evidence on the importance of water. As I mentioned just now, you can even try on yourself after this. So every living thing made from water. Okay, not only water is important as a means for your survival, but also it can also, especially for the rich people or those who can afford leisure, water resources can also be source of their well-being. I mean, you can travel to different countries or even any beach, rivers, waterfall near your home in order to relax, ease your mind of the fatigue of your work offices and whatnot. So this is also another important aspect of natural element that we may take for granted. If you, I believe you have browsed through many news about our beloved brothers and sisters in Gaza, Palestine, and other part of Palestine, you will notice how fortunate we are that we need to be thankful for this natural element. This is actually text messages sent by my student from Palestine. And she texted to me, as you can see on the screen, we suffer to stay alive. Okay, every day. There's no water, no electricity, no food. Now we just live on what is stored in-house. Taking shower is like something hard as the water is very few. Personally, I can take shower once every 5 to 7 days. So can you imagine ourselves in this situation? Okay. That we wouldn't be able to take shower for a week. Not even a week. Again, you can do this simple experiment. Do not take bath until how many days? You can count starting from today and whatnot. Okay, so this is a message she sent to me on the 7th December last year. So that is basically as a starting point for you to have reflection about your connection with the natural resources around you. I want also to include this reflection by referring to the work of our father of sociology, Ibn Khaldun, which I have already introduced during my first lecture, and also by my colleague, Dr. Aisha, as the first lecture of this course. So as you know, Ibn Khaldun has been considered as the father of sociology, whereby he has written this great book. Some translation has divided this book into 3 volumes, like the one translated by Franz Rosenthal. Written in 1377, it is not only considered as a great book in sociology, but also in history as well as philosophy. So in this book, some sociologists have argued to the extent that they forward the argument by saying that basically Ibn Khaldun in throughout the book, various chapters, volume and subsection actually has forwarded what in the modern sociological term coined as environmental determinism. Okay, what is environmental determinism? It's basically, he argued, physical environment plays a crucial role in shaping the characteristic and culture of society. These include the geography, climate, and natural resources like rivers, the land, the soil, influence the lifestyle, economic activities, and social structure of people. So this is a very strong argument. Of course, he has supported this argument in various sections and also chapters of his masterpiece. Say for example, as I mentioned earlier, you can look at the how he divided chapter 1 into actually 6 parts. but I have highlighted on the screen those subsection or subtitle which deal directly with natural elements. So you can see the second preparatory discussion, whereby he mentioned the parts of the earth where civilization is found. Some information about ocean, river, and zone. The third section, the temperate and intemperate zone, the influence of air, which is the climate, upon the color of human being and upon many other aspects of their condition, including you will see in this subsequent chapter, the social structure of the society. The fourth subtitle, the influence of the air, again, climate upon human character. Fifth discussion, differences with regard to the abundance and scarcity of food in the various inhabited region, what he called umbran, and how they affect human body and character. So just by merely looking at this subtopic, we know how, as I mentioned just now, the modern sociologist frame his argument in this one terminology, environmental determinism, whereby it means that how environment shapes the other cultural aspect of human society. So he gave one specific example in one of the chapter, the Fertile Crescent, the land between two rivers, which is basically the civilization of Mesopotamia. Okay, between the two rivers, which, as you know, the two rivers are the Tigris and Euphrates. It's a prime example where civilization have historically thrived due to, this is where our concern should be, on fertile land and abundant water resources. So again, it goes back to the earlier argument, how he has forwarded his argument on environmental determinism. In contrast, arid, harsh region with limited resources lead to smaller, less advanced society, often relying on trade or nomadic lifestyle. So again, he tried to relate how the environment affect the social structure of human civilization. So why the concern? Again, with those background or introduction, why again the concern to study or to reflect or to do muhasabah on our connection, relationship, interaction with our natural resources like the air, water, mountain, the sun, the moon, okay, the ocean, waterfall, trees, and whatnot, the plant, vegetation, and also animal. So these are the reasons. Because currently, as you know, as you read newspaper, in fact, just a few days ago, we have the most recent example of the wildfire in Los Angeles. Okay, so this is one of many examples of environmental disaster that you can see on the slide. Currently, climate change, deforestation, solid waste pollution, either on the land or on the river or the ocean. And then in Malaysia, we have recurrent flood, okay, flash flood, damaging life as well as our properties and whatnot. And then we have air pollution. And lastly, the last picture with a fish. This is actually a symbol of what we call microplastic pollution, one of the most recent pollution issues that we have need to find solution to deal with this microplastic pollution. So that's why we need to reflect what we have done to our nature. Are we one of the culprits that contributed to this multiple multifaceted, what we call natural disaster? Okay, so that would be some of the background about this today's topic. Now, I want to bring in the sociological argument by framing our argument within the broader discipline of what we call environmental sociology. This is my area of specialization. In reality, environmental sociology is one of the youngest disciplines within our body of knowledge, sociology. Okay, it only emerged as an official, distinct discipline somewhere in the 1970s. So why this is the case? Because historically, like many other social sciences, we are concentrating on human society. We are social scientists. So we tend to leave the issue of environmental to physical scientists, especially the ecologists, the environmental scientists and whatnot. So historically, sociology has not been seen itself as concerned with nature. We are more concerned with social interaction rather than human nature interaction. So before 1970, there were few attempts to study human nature interaction, but very in a haphazard manner. So officially only in 1970, we here means sociology developed a specific discipline just to study human nature interaction. So environmental sociology, among others, help to unpack how societal structure, like our political institution, our economy, capitalism, industrialization, drive environmental exploitation and degradation. Okay, so this is the definition. What is environmental sociology? The study of reciprocal interaction between society and their natural environment. This is basically the definition forwarded by the founding father of environmental sociology, Riley Dunlop and Kenton, whereby they have written a book on this, environmental sociology, in 1979. A more recent scholar, John Hannigan, which belonged to the school of social constructionism, the sociological study of how humans interact with the various aspects of the environment. So these two definitions highlight the specific focus of environmental sociology, whereby they concern about the social dimension of human interaction with nature, including, as I mentioned earlier, how our social structure, including our economic institution, could shape environmental exploitation. Say, for example, our own cultural value, in what way it can be used in order to protect our environment. And also, again, political processes can be used both negatively and positively, as mentioned by our previous speaker just now, Dr. Shaza. So in the context of environment, political institution can be used maybe from positive as well as from negative perspective. Okay, I would also like to frame our discussion in the context of theoretical paradigm. There are many theoretical paradigms which can explain human nature interaction, but on the screen I have listed only 3, and I will only choose one of these since we have very limited time. So social constructionism, critical realism, political ecology. The most popular is actually political ecology, but as I mentioned just now, due to limited time, I will concentrate my discussion only on social constructionism. So basically, this school of thought or theoretical paradigm best argue natural environment are not real. I mean, they are not interested to study nature based on their objective properties. Okay? They are more concerned about how society construct nature. Okay, so basically, how does society construct nature? Via or using a cultural lens, like our own values and belief, our norms, or even the social media can shape our understanding or our interpretation, our perception about nature, and also our language. Okay, so our values and belief may shape our understanding about water, including water resources like river or the ocean. Or if you can see another picture here, this is basically a very unique natural phenomena in the Arctic region, normally occur during winter season, like in Norway, Iceland. You can see this very unique phenomena by the name of Aurora Borealis. Okay, I will give you one example how different cultures have diverse beliefs and practices related to water, like how certain river in the world are being conceptualized, being sacred. Okay, water bodies like river. Okay, and also we as sociologists study water ritual and ceremonies. Okay, how water being used in cultural ritual ceremonies all over the world. So specifically, you can see on the picture, this is one of the ritual being performed by the Hindus in India, whereby they perceive Ganges River as their holy river. So they basically visit this river on annual basis in order to worship the river. That's why we see many temples or shrines being established along the riverbank. Okay, and they basically, as you know, will spread their ashes once they pass away. I mean, these bring about the issue of pollution. So if you want to be an water quality officer in the context of India, you must understand the cultural practices of those Hindu people so that you can come up with the best water management practices, taking into account the cultural practices as being performed by the Hindus in the India. Okay, coming back to us as a Muslim, we also have our own unique connection with water. We do have religious belief and practices associated to water. So in Islam, as you know, water plays being highly significant value in our religion. We have so many Quranic verses as well as hadiths which mention the unique element or characteristic of river. As you can see here in Surah An-Nahl, and he sent down rain from the sky and gave life thereby to the earth after its lifelessness. And a hadith, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the three things we should not be withheld are water, pasture, and fire. In another hadith, do not waste water, even if performing ablution on the bank of a fast-flowing river. This is also an application towards water conservation. So as you know, in our everyday practices, it is incomplete. We cannot perform our salah without taking ablution, and whereby we use water in order to perform our wudu, tahara, purification, and whatnot. And even during the day or our last day on this earth, the other people will give us the compulsory bath, like mandi jenazah. Also, we need water. So that's how water has been significantly valued in our religion. So this is what we call in sociology a social constructionism of water. So how are we able to appreciate all of this natural element, including water? I think we, as usual, go back to the fundamental, that Tawheed, the concept of Khalifah, and also the concept of accountability. Tawheed, foundation of faith. As you know, the whole universe is created and controlled as well as sustained by Allah, the one supreme power. So without this belief, okay, something wrong with our iman. Okay. And then the concept of Khalifah fil ard. Why Allah use the term fil ard? Why not Khalifah lil nas only towards the man or the society? Because in this world there are other living organisms apart from the man. We need to perform our duty also towards other living organisms as well as non-living organisms, like what are our responsibility towards water, okay, toward a river, toward ocean, towards animal, vegetation, and whatnot. And once we have these two basic or fundamental concepts ingrained in ourselves, in our heart, in our mind, then it's easier for us to remember about the concept of accountability. As you know, in Surah Al-Zalzalah, every atom's weight of good and every atom's weight of evil will be weighed in Al-Akhirah, including a piece or maybe a mineral bottle that you displace inappropriately. I mean, you do not put it in a dustbin. All you know, okay, later on, your mineral water will travel into your nearest drainage system, and from the nearest drainage system goes into the nearest tributaries. Okay, like in our campus, Sungai Pusu. Later on, Sungai Pusu will travel to Sungai Kelang, and later on, Sungai Kelang will empty in the Strait of Malacca. And later on, travel all over the world, okay, to Pacific Ocean and whatnot. So normally, this concept of Tawheed, Khalifah, Al-Akhirah guides. I mean, normally we use this concept in the context of our relationship with Allah and our relationship with other fellow human beings. But the same concept can be used to reflect and ponder our relationship with nature as well. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, it's very important to ponder upon the concept of Tawhid, the creation. For the as you know, for the sustenance of His creation, like ourselves, human being, Allah has basically measured quantity, quality of all environmental resources, which measures with the current total demand, including the current total population demand, which actually now almost 9 billion. So there's no question that there's not enough water, not enough food for all human population, because Allah have mentioned many times in the Quranic verses about environmental balance. It should be sufficient for everyone. Okay, so if you look at Quranic verses, these are all the terms being used in relation to environmental balance, like the qadar, mauzun, mizan, haq, qis, and whatnot, which can be applicable to many water resources. Okay, so this is the example. Verily, example from the Quran. Verily, all things have we created in proportion and measure. Okay, because mauzun mizan, because it should be sufficient. So being a sociologist, we do have explanation why water resources which are basically unequally distributed. Okay, social stratification, the issue of social inequality, power relation, which I wouldn't be able to explain at length, unfortunately. Okay, so I just merely share with you the basic concept. Okay, I also want to argue further to emphasize on the importance of having a good relationship with natural resources, basically strengthening our iman, okay? Strengthening or refreshing our tawhid. Back to nature, basically we can reflect on Allah, supreme power. Uh, I mean, can you wonder about our solar system, our galaxy? Okay, the frozen glacier, iceberg, not to mention the normal one that we have in Malaysia, river system, mountain, forest. As you can see in the Surah Al-Hijj, okay, and the earth, we have spread out, set there in mountain, firm and immovable, and produced there in all kind of thing in due balance, mauzun again. And we have provided that in means of sustenance, okay, for you and for those who sustain you are not responsible. So we need to be grateful for all of this natural element which make us, we are able to create civilization based on these natural resources, as mentioned by Ibn Khaldun just now. And also, there are so many Quranic verses not only talking or discussing about environmental balance, but also the foundation for environmental ethics. The Quran and Sunnah stress on the preservation of both the quantity and quality of the natural resources. Once again, there are abundance Quranic verses and hadiths in relation to this. And where then they leave you, they strive throughout the land to spread mischief. So we being told not to spread a disaster on earth, to destroy crop and cattle. Allah does not like mischief. So give just measure and weight. Do not defraud people of their property, nor spread corruption in the land after it has been sent in order. As I mentioned just now, Allah mentioned so many times the perfect orderliness of the nature. Okay, the volume of water is sufficient, food is sufficient and whatnot. But only due to human, okay, maybe greed and whatnot, which created this problem, as you can see on the slide, solid waste pollution problem in the river system and also deforestation. Then this is important in relation to waste management. Dress properly whenever you are at worship. Eat and drink, but do not waste. Surely he does not like wasteful in the concept of consumption. Okay? Surely the wasteful are like brothers to the devil, and the devil is even ungrateful to his Lord. So maybe for sisters like me, okay, we need to count how many tudung that we have in our cupboard. Okay, we have so many range of color, okay, different color of green, blue, different shade of blue. So overconsumption. Now with the advancement of Shopee, okay, and whatnot, all this online, shopping platform, it is even easier for us to do shopping. And since Ramadan is approaching, I think I would also to remind us not to be wasteful. I'm not sure about other country, but in Malaysia, for many decades, we have recorded the highest food waste during Ramadan, which is so ironic. Ramadan is supposed to be the other way around. Okay? But we Malaysian, I don't know about other Muslim in other country, we produce more waste during Ramadan. And you can see this almost every year, this kind of headline being printed in our local newspaper. This one appeared in the year 2015, okay, up to 270,000 tons of food go to waste during Ramadan. Okay, this is also another important hadith in relation to environmental ethic. Oh, sorry, not hadith, but narration whereby Abu Bakr, of course, instructed his general Yazid ibn Abi Sufyan to strictly observe the environmental values and consciousness even in the enemy territory. So he reminded his men, do not cut down a tree, do not abuse the river, do not harm crops and animal, and always be kind and humane to Allah creation, even to your enemies. Okay, so those will be a good foundation for our environmental ethics. So we as Muslim should be even more sensitive to the cause of environment. We as Islamic society should be more environmental friendly than the non-Muslim, but at least based on my personal observation, it is the other way around. Non-Muslim are more environmental friendly than the Muslim, at least based on my my PhD thesis when I interview many environmental activists. So hopefully, if we do or we are able to have these environmental friendly practices, we hopefully would be able to achieve environmental balance as mentioned by Allah just now with so many words like Mauzun, Qadar and whatnot. So this is the ideal or the goal that we should be targeting for. Okay. So indeed, being environmental friendly and aiming toward environmental balance is actually a way, is Islamic way of life. A part of our reflection or translation of our tawhid and our iman. I would argue in such a way. Okay? So in conclusion, Islam promotes sustainability as well as equitable and efficiently use natural resources. Similarly, with environmental sociology, if we can combine this together, it would be very wonderful to achieve environmental balance. So my last word, let us be a good, effective Khalifah fil ard, not only to linnas, which is translated to environmental steward. This is some of my suggestion. How to be environmental friendly. Just look around you today after the end of my lecture. Look at your water practices where you brush your teeth and whatnot. Okay. And then do recycling, upcycle, try to eat local fruits, okay, rather than eating grapes, oranges, apple and whatnot. Go for papaya, okay, pineapple, our local food. Okay, eat more meatless meal, drive less, take public transportation. I do not own a car. I do take public transportation regularly, and I have seen many non-Muslim environmental activists purely depend on public transportation even way before we have LRT and whatnot. So that's the level of commitment that they have towards the environment. So with that, I thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Maybe you can enjoy also this poem I composed when I visited Mount Buller. I wish and I pray the knowledge or ilm that you have gained today does not disappear as fast and without a trace like a falling snowflake melting in my palm during the first day of winter. This is actually a cultural ecology perspective. whereby they believe that environment shape cultural practices, including language. So this poem was transpired after I visited Mount Buller during winter, whereby I observed the snow fall in that mountain. Thank you very much. Wait, any question? Four hours within sipping water. Okay, good. Anyone longer than 4 hours? Yalah, during fasting Ramadan, more than 4 hours. I mean, during non-fasting month, okay, hold the breath, your breath, 45 seconds. Who has the longest? 50 seconds, 60 seconds. Hours. That is the average. 3 days is the average actually.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for the lecturer. I think Sister Juera lost.
Oh, okay. Lost connection, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
I don't know.
Wonder.
So I have many questions in chat box from Brother Daud. Yeah, Sister Juera.
Oh, yeah, sister. We have you. Right, take it easy.
So, there's
Yeah, so one suggestion by Mr. Dawood. How about using kitchen waste in compost for garden? Yes, it's very good suggestion. I did that practice from time to time actually, saving my kitchen waste and put it back in the garden whenever I went back home to my hometown. Mhm.
okay. If there's if anyone want to have a direct question, also can unmute. And here doesn't have any more question, Doctor. If none, thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much for your sharing today. Inshallah, may Allah bless you, Doctor.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
So now we have come to the end of